So this is what the electrolysis looks like after it's been going exactly a week and 2 days. You can see like all of the, if I can get it to cooperate with me here, damn thing. Anyhow, what I'm trying to show you is how corroded the clips are. Even though I had that little protector there, it doesn't by any means really protect them that great. So it's kind of, you know, if you want to do it or not, but really wanted to show you how black all of this is in here. This is where our hypochlorite will be, and you can see even along the edges here where some of it's evaporated off. I don't know, is that showing up? Let's see here. Yeah, like right here along the edge, all that white stuff, that's sodium hypochlorite or potassium hypochlorite here. And that's just come out and crystallized as it's like kind of popped out of solution and evaporated. You can see I'm still running it there. It's my cathode. I'm gonna turn it off right now. Where are we at? There's where I've been running it at. The amps just jumped up overnight. They were only at like 0.125 amps yesterday. I don't know what that's about, but I'm assuming it has something to do with electrolyte concentration. That's my best guess, because I haven't changed surface area, I haven't changed. This is, so just wanted to talk for a minute while my air conditioner's not running. So far, this method seems to be superior to using the sponge method for the membrane. And the reason that I'm saying this is because, as I said in the video I shot before, I had to change out the anode several times throughout a week. And the reason that I think that this was partially happening is because with the sponge membrane, it allows a good bit of sodium hydroxide contamination to leak through, especially if the membrane runs completely to where it deteriorates and then you might not even realize it and you don't have a membrane for a minute. And as far as I know, that's the reason why a lot of bleach is contaminated with hydroxide as well, just because of the way they make it. I also think that sodium hydroxide might be like a decomposition product. So here's what our solution looks like after it was filtered through the sea light. One thing I noticed here right off the bat, doing it with the clay pot, is that you can see our product here now. Even though it's nice and clear, it's got a nice yellow tint to it. And I've never gotten that when I've done this in the plastic. So perhaps whatever they dye the pots with is more soluble and more reactive towards bleach than obviously whatever's in high density polyethylene to color it. So anyhow, this is what it looks like after we filter it through sea light. There's not really much to say about it. I mean, we're just evaporating it down now. And then if we did this right and we actually oxidize the potassium chloride and the potassium hypochlorite, we'll start to see needle-like crystals come out of solution on cooling and standing for a while. So here's the solution of hypochlorite that I've been boiling down. I boiled it just under about half volume. You can see all the flecks of hypochlorite that's come out of solution as it's been boiling. I threw stones in it to try to mitigate that as much as possible, but it's still just inevitable. Should have probably put it like, see, it wasn't really boiling until it hit about 104 C. So a water bath really wouldn't have done too much. I mean, it would have taken forever. Maybe next time I'll try to use an oil bath, and then I can control the temp a little bit better and see exactly how hot this has to get. But anyhow, that's it there. So while we're waiting for this to cool down so crystals can come out of it, I'm going to come over here and just do a simple test with some of the hydroxide solution that we have, just to see if it is indeed hydroxide. Be right back. So there I've got a ceramic little bowl, and into that I'm going to put in some of the hydroxide solution right there from the container. Pipe that here. Pipe some of this in. Just looking for positive confirmation. We already know this is really basic from the pH reading, but this is just to give us positive confirmation that we do indeed have sodium hydroxide, or I'm sorry, potassium hydroxide in this case. What I'm going to do is we're going to throw a little piece of aluminum, and this should almost immediately start evolving a lot and copious amounts of hydrogen. So, let's see what this does. We got a piece of aluminum. As you guys can see right there, it's just a little teeny piece of a pop can tab. I'm going to throw that into the hydroxide here. Happening. Yes, okay. So I know you guys are not going to be able to see this at home. God, let me zoom in. Oh God, it just makes it worse. So after just a brief second, all of a sudden now I am seeing excited bubbling coming off of this piece of aluminum. And that's what we would expect to see if we throw aluminum into a strong base like sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. So we've got evolution of hydrogen going on. That tells us that we did make our target product. So that's good confirmation right there. For some more confirmation on our products, I'm going to do a little pH test. So here first, this is the hydroxide that we dissolved the aluminum in. Very basic, as we would expect to see with the hydroxide. And because we have the hypochlorite anion in here, we should expect to see that this, off camera here, you can't see it, but I just dunked it in the beaker that's cooling, should be acidic. And yep, there we go. You can see definitely that up here, this is our lye, and to prove that I had different solutions there, I just touched it again with the acid. You can see what the acid looks like compared to it. So we got our lye here, and we got our bleach here. There's further confirmation that our products are what we think they ought to be. So here's a better hydrogen test for you guys. What you're looking at here is a test tube. I put a couple pipettes full of our sodium hydroxide, or potassium hydroxide solution is what's in there. And right here, if you can see it, there it goes. Got a little piece of pop can tab in my fingers. That's what we're going to drop into there. And now you should be able to see the bubbles. It takes just a moment for it to get through the passivation layer. But there you go. You can see it right there. Very clearly. The effervescence coming off. And that is our positive test for evolution of hydrogen. So, there you go. I don't know if I should take this all the way to show the crystals or not. Screw it, I guess we're this far. We're not going to get any crystals of the hydroxide. That's just too much of a pain and too hard on my glassware. We're going to leave that as a solution. We'll just filter that off and we'll call it a day with that. The hypochlorite, the crystals are kind of neat looking, so I'll try to get some of those to show you guys. So right now you're looking at the hypochlorite solution. I just switched it to a smaller beaker. What I'm trying to do right now is decolorize it a little bit. I've got it just stirring on a hot plate, not heating at all, just stirring. And I added some activated carbon powder to it. That's why it's all black all of a sudden. So we're going to try to get a bunch of that yellow out of there as much as we can. And then I'm going to evaporate it down a little bit more. So we'll see how well this does. Here's the hypochlorite solution after I had stirred it hot with some activated carbon. I mean, it did take out a good bit of the yellowing that was in there. That was a lot deeper of a yellow than it was. It's a lot more clear now. So I guess translucent, I guess would be a good word for it. But so yeah, now I'm just reducing it down even further. I just transferred it to a smaller beaker. And we're going to try to pull some crystals out of this for you guys. So here's our KOH crystals, potassium hypochlorite. It didn't really come out needle-like like I had thought they would, and that's probably because I put them in the fridge and I cooled them down real rapidly. Bet you if I recrystallize these, I could get some needles from them. But this is potassium hypochlorite here. I dried it with some acetone and xylene. This is, I mean, it looks pretty white actually, considering what the solution it came out of. You know, super neat. This is it. So I'm just gonna let this dry and then, you know, bottle it. That's it.